Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by nightclub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, a.k.a. the Disney Cynic.
And I'm Amanda, a.k.a. the Anti-Cynic.
And joining us today is the big boss, the producer, CEO of nightclub33.com himself, Steve Rhodes. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Steve.
Yay.
What's up?
We should probably do this.
Yeah. There it is.
I'll get this.
There we are.
New setup, new digs, all
I
that.
know.
It's all good.
You know.
Different office.
Different. So tonight, we are gonna table the real reason why we brought Steve on, which is to talk Disneyland Paris. But we're not tabling it all together, at least I don't think anyway.
It'll be the second half of the show.
Yeah,
There we go.
in favor of the biggest Disney news that's happened in the last 5 years, I
Yeah.
would say,
Yeah.
at least, right?
Yeah, firing the CEO would probably be up there.
I think this might be bigger,
This is probably going to be bigger, I think. Yeah.
at least more impactful anyway. So, Amanda, I'm going to toss
Yeah.
it to you. The news.
Yeah. If you have been living under a rock and have not heard, Disney's building a new theme park. Not anywhere here in the United States. So it is not
Of
a
course.
fifth gate for Florida. It's not, a third gate for California. It's not a new park anywhere in the States. No. In fact, we're going to a part of the world that Disney's never built a park in. And that would be the Middle East in Abu Dhabi.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Not something I saw coming, but here we are.
Certainly, I had not heard any rumblings, and I feel like
No.
we have a pretty good pulse on the Disney news. I feel like we would have at least brought it up in the group chat, right?
I haven't seen any sort of rumors before about this. I think this just like feels like it came out of nowhere.
I also feel like, we know people. They probably would have been able to at least hint us that something was happening. Maybe not directly tell us that X, Y, and Z was, but they would have said something anyway. But anyway,
With things like this though, with like that, the money, the oil money, and all the money that's out there in
Yeah.
the Middle East, though, they could have been working. Like the folks in Abu Dhabi could have been working on this by
For a
themselves,
year.
with
Yeah.
Disney not even knowing about it, and then just presented a proposal and said, "Hey, can we pay you X amount of billions of dollars to use your name?" And Disney's like, "Sure." We look it over and rubber stamp. I mean, because if Disney doesn't have any, monetary skin in the game,
Yeah.
it might be an easy approval.
so
Yeah.
a couple of things occur to me. Let's start with you, Steve. What was your instant reaction? Like, were you pissed? Were you jealous? Were you excited? What was your reaction?
I guess pretty much ambivalent to the whole thing, because it's probably not a place I'm gonna go. Not that I wouldn't go to Abu Dhabi, but it would be part of a connection to go to, like, the Maldives or something like that. Not a place I'm just gonna spend a whole lot of time. But the rendering looks cool, so there's that.
Yeah.
And then once I heard that Disney wasn't
Yeah.
paying, I'm like, oh, this makes a lot more sense. It's gonna be another government
So much more
controlled
sense.
entity, and it just
Yeah.
it's gonna be baller for everything. So we'll live vicariously through YouTube more than likely on this park. But
Almost undoubtedly.
Yeah.
Unless I strike it big with air conditioning out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
it's not that it's not
you never
it's not as expensive
I mean-
to get to Abu Dhabi. It's not like going to Dubai. Like, it's not as bad as you think it might be.
Perhaps not, but nonetheless, it is still a challenge when you have certain prescriptions that wouldn't fly into Abu Dhabi. That's
No,
for damn sure.
no.
So,
No,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
anyway, but
my prescriptions
Before we-
might not fly over there.
just saying, there's only so much of that I could tell. Food and wine would not be a big hit in the Abu Dhabi.
The food might.
market.
The food might.
No, the food.
Eh.
Oh, the food would
The
be
wine
sure.
part
Oh, yeah.
probably not. But
The
the
food plays. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The food place.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough. The other side of the coin here is that Disney is in a shit ton of debt
Mhm.
because of the purchase with Fox.
Yep.
And I think they got swindled a lot bit, not a little bit, a lot bit on something like what's it called? Hulu, that acquisition.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like this is their way out of debt. This is them trying to pay the bill, and if
Yeah.
that's what they did it for, I'm okay with it.
I do
I get
wonder.
it.
I kind of wonder what eh, what they're charging for their licensing.
Oh, that's gonna come
I
out.
think you're going to find out
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're going to know pretty quickly once that balance sheet turns in an earnings call.
Yeah.
Once that money comes in, because this is just going to be a fat check. I don't think this is going to be some slow
Oh
trickle.
yeah.
This is going to be like, here's your money over like a
Yeah.
course of a couple of years, and then
It had not escaped my notice that they made that announcement right at the time of the earnings call.
oh
I'm
yeah,
just saying,
So apparently,
high level
how
strategy.
did yeah strategery?
there's
How
a
did you feel about this, babe?
25-year-old reference. Jesus.
Yes,
Uh,
has it been that long?
I yes, God, it has been. That's what terrifies me. Um, I honestly think with them paying the bill and them getting paid to invent shit for this park, it could benefit us here in Florida,
Yeah.
ultimately in the long run.
I would hope that
I-
because
Here's what I would really like for them to do. I would like for them to learn how to build an indoor park because you have to build an indoor park there.
yeah.
It's 120 fucking degree. It's Death Valley type weather out there on a daily basis. You're not walking around for a castle park. So, uh, indoor technology coming to Disney, I like this idea, right?
Yeah, God, now we're gonna hear Alton even more about the dome, the dome, the dome.
Oh, cut down on
I
rain days.
they're
Yeah,
gonna
would have
there's
shut
gonna
down
have to
half the park.
there's
Yeah,
obviously gonna have to be some indoor elements, right?
there's
It's not
gotta
gonna be
be.
fully indoor, but
No, so the way that SeaWorld did their theme park out there, which by the way, if
that's
you haven't seen
inside
any of
mostly.
yeah,
Yeah,
It,
if you haven't seen the YouTube videos from that guys, you really do need to check those out. There's some of the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life.
yeah,
Um, but their roller coasters are basically the only parts that are outdoors. All the loading and unloading and all the onboarding and all their other shit all takes place within like a central kind of hub area. Put a dome over the hubs of the spoke, basically, and the
yeah.
castle, and that's what you got. And then any other filter rides or outside rides or something like that, you would ride it outside, but and be exposed to the elements only for that X amount of time that you're actually physically on
okay, so I am looking this up right now. I have pulled up. I've got a Google map here
the ride. Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to know like what all theme parks are here. So this is on an island. It's called Yas Island, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, but it's YAS. And this is like
Sounds
the
close
island
enough to
where
me.
yeah, this is where all of the
I kind of
like
feel
theme
like it's got
parks.
a Valley Girl.
Yes.
I
Yes.
mean, it might even be just like that.
Yeah.
So what else is
Um
there?
oh, there's a lot. This is where all of the theme parks in Abu Dhabi are apparently. Warner Brothers has a theme park. Ferrari has a theme park. There is a place called Yas Water World, SeaWorld.
Oh.
There's a place called Prison Island.
I don't know
I
that I
don't
want
know
to
that
go
that's
there.
an attraction.
It says it's a theme
Yeah.
park. And the review that I'm seeing says spending 3 hours flew by effortlessly, filled with laughter and fun. So
They beat up prisoners, throw
I
eggs
don't know.
at them.
Take with that what you will.
I mean,
Um,
No politics. No
that's not
politics.
politics. I'm just wondering what the amusement is with a prison.
apparently National Geographic has a theme park.
Oh wow! So I can't
How does
imagine that
one
the footprints are
theme
that
park
big.
for the outdoors?
Funworks. There's like I mean, just all kinds of, like, I'm seeing so many. There's like, they even have like one of those like indoor bounce places.
No.
This is Orlando on steroids.
This is Orlando on steroids. That's exactly what this is. The amount of theme parks and like, just, they have an indoor snow center.
Oh, I've seen that. Yep. You can ski.
Yeah.
Yep.
We actually have
Yep.
one of those here too, to be
Yeah.
fair, but we've never gone. Why would
Yeah.
we go?
But yeah, this
I,
is
it,
this is a
I
lot.
came here to get away
Lots
from the
happening.
ice.
Yeah.
I gotta assume that the footprint won't be like the size of the traditional castle park or anything like that, just because you have to keep it indoors. I mean, it'll obviously be scaled up, but I don't think it's going to be.
Dude, you'd be
Well,
surprised. You can
Yeah.
like think convention centers, think
yeah.
those types of
They're
structures. There's
huge. Yeah.
plenty of experience warehouses left and right here.
Yeah.
God, that Amazon builds them in like a
Oh
day and a
yeah.
half now. So there's plenty of ways that you can like build a structure that's covered at least and have it be more climate controlled than just exposed to the sun and the devil and all that shit.
These theme parks that are here though are like phenomenal.
No, they're next level.
Like,
The
apparently, sorry.
no, this is what we want
Yeah.
out of our
Yeah.
attractions.
I mean, okay. So this says that
Unlimited
development
funds,
on
though.
right.
We don't have that.
Development on this island began less than 20 years ago, but this is already like the place that all the theme park people want to have a theme park. It's got some of the most technologically sophisticated attractions in the world.
Oh yeah.
There's like one park has like a 3D movie theater. The fastest roller coaster in the world is over there. The coaster with the highest non-inverted loop is over there. And then SeaWorld Abu Dhabi holds a Guinness World Record as the planet's largest indoor marine theme park.
Wow.
That's dope.
Yeah.
It's a lot to
Also, I
compete
wish,
with.
yeah,
And it's
well,
being developed by the same company that developed every other theme park on this island.
Yeah.
which means it's going to be spectacular.
It's
Now,
going to be amazing.
here's where I see it could benefit us, right? Is that there's an exchange of technologies at that point,
Mhm.
and somehow Disney absorbs some of these attractions and potentially brings them over here, like they have with Remy's, for instance.
Right.
That was an attract or Tron. There's been plenty of other attractions that they've been licensed to build, basically. So this will
But herein
maybe
lies the question: who's going to own that technology and the licensure there? Because with Remy, that's a Disney property. Even with Tron and stuff that came over from the Asian parks, like that is still a Disney entity, whereas this is going to have no Disney monetary backing to it. This is just
this is
they're
true.
licensing the name to call it Disney. So like, is Disney going to be able to use their technology and put it in a park over here? That's
This is true. You got to
Yeah.
think though that somebody's smart enough to help do an exchange there in some way, shape, or form. At the very least, they're sending over an Imagineer to help him build a
has
couple
to
of
be. Yeah.
robots or something like that.
Yeah.
That like somebody's going to see something and bring it back. Just saying, whether that's corporate
Amanda,
espionage or not, I don't know. We'll see. But I have to think that that's coming to a degree.
Amanda, do they say when this is opening?
No, there's been no date announced.
Okay.
It's probably given their funding, it's probably going to be pretty quick. Like I would imagine within the
Wouldn't be
next 5
surprised.
years.
I mean, honestly, this is a really good location. Like, the UAE is located within a 4-hour flight of 1/3 of the world's population, so it is a lot of tourism
Yeah.
through here. They say there's like 120 million passengers that travel
Yeah.
through
Abu Dhabi is the second.
Like,
I think it's the number 2 most interconnected airport behind Dubai
yeah,
for international connections. I want to say it's number 2.
yeah,
Either that or Shanghai in Singapore, but it's up there, and it's just
yeah.
you think Atlanta's busy. It's busy, but it's all
No.
domestic. This is just people transiting through the world, like just
Yeah.
going through there, just
Yeah,
running through the
it is a
airport.
major hub.
I mean, that's also
Yeah.
just the F gate. for Hartsfield. So
Yeah.
Not a place I like to go, but
Don't
that's
blame
another
you.
show.
that's a completely
ATL
different
Airport.
show.
Worst
Yeah.
airports in Atlanta.
You know what though? As this is a travel advice show, it's going to come up at
Yeah.
some point. So
Atlanta
we'll have to.
sucks
Yeah.
as the airports go.
If you can avoid it
If
as a
you're-
connection,
It's horrible.
If you know what you're doing, you'll be fine. But yeah,
If-
don't connect unless you're staying on the same airline.
Or you got plenty of time between connections.
so maybe this is where I want to take this a little bit here too, from a cultural perspective. I guess is it how do we put it? Is it selling out on the part of Disney? 100%.
Oh, selling out? You mean Disney
Yeah.
selling out?
Yeah.
I mean, they
Or is that
license
ship
everything to
sale?
everybody. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know when did that occur? The 80s?
Well, so the reason why I say that is because every up until this point they've had an ownership stake in pretty much everything except Tokyo, but perhaps they did have some sort of financial stake in that.
They have
Now there's
financial
no
stake in Tokyo. Yeah.
now there's no financial stake. There's no risk to this. It's just money, basically.
Yep.
I think they sold out, but I also think they didn't really have a choice.
Is it because of the debt and taking
it's
on
because
Fox
of
and all
they've
that?
made poor financial decisions.
They really have.
And now, in order to, if they want to keep being one of the leading entertainment companies in the world, they've got to do something. Which means they got to have money.
The one thing that you didn't mention when you're running down your list of companies, you didn't say Universal. So I think this is the Disney. Hey, look what we can do.
Yeah.
We can put
y'all
our
might
name
have
here
built
first.
Epic Universe, but we got to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
So
But
that timing is also suspect. On
that
this
that I did see somebody
It's not
pointed out
suspect,
was like,
it's smart.
Yeah.
It is.
You got to think about where the wealth of the world is moving and where it's concentrated, and they are in that's the epicenter of it.
We're 2 weeks away from Epic Universe. Yeah.
But Epic Universe, as awesome as it's going to be, is going to be a very North American centric park. You'll have your occasional Brit come over or whatever, but when you put something in the Middle East around like that kind of actual tycoon money, you're not talking about just like a handful of people. You're talking about millions of visitors that are going to be able to access this, and people coming in from even from Asia that have already been to the Asian, they can get there easily. If a flight from Spain or whatever, they can all access this. It's just it was a smart move. I mean, yeah.
So I just Googled, does Universal Studios have a park in Abu Dhabi? Knowing that the answer is going to be no, but I really like what the AI overview brought up.
Oh, this is good. These are always good.
No, Universal Studios does not currently have a theme park in Abu Dhabi. However, the Walt Disney Company announced plans to build a new theme park and resort in Abu Dhabi.
Yep. And that could be what Disney's going for.
Yeah.
I wonder how much money went to Google today for that.
Yeah, I know.
Lots of weird changes. I'm telling you.
This will be the 13th theme park and the most significant international expansion since Shanghai.
Yeah. This is massive.
Mm-hmm.
This is huge news for the company. I'm not necessarily immediately viewing it as a negative, and I understand the guttural reaction to immediately view it as a negative, especially on my part, because let's be honest, it's kind of my thing, right? This is find the shittiness of it. So I'm trying not to just look at it like that, but I do think that it is just like a sellout type thing. And part of my frustration with many companies that have their roots here in America, but are very much a global company, stopped caring about us here in America in some ways. Now, that doesn't mean that we have to have all the same entertainment and blah, 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 blah. I'm not talking about that necessarily. It just kind of feels like, they've shifted their focus to everything but, the stuff that we care about still. And that I understand as a frustration on many people's parts if they are a theme park fan, and particularly a Disney World fan.
When you think about in context of shareholders, which is all companies think about nowadays, shareholders want to see growth. And
Yeah.
where's the opportunity here in this? I mean, there's a finite amount of dollars for the average Joe, so you have to move into emerging markets, and now you're moving into arguably the biggest one.
Yeah.
So
I'm
that's
not dismissing
yeah,
any of that, by
yeah.
the way. I'm not. I'm saying that you can do both. This is my problem: is that
With what money though? That's the thing.
the money, the hundreds of billions of dollars that they are about to get, I'm certain from this company
Who knows?
to do that park. I mean, like they have to look at it from this perspective. They're putting in a $60 billion maintenance and expansion, quote unquote, here in Orlando, and that's something that they're projected to make money off of. So for
Yeah.
them to sell out this, that check has to be at least $150 billion.
Yeah.
Hard to say. It's yeah, we don't know.
I mean,
You're just throwing numbers out, arbitrarily until we actually have the facts. We don't know, but they didn't take a small amount. This wasn't a $10
no,
transaction, clearly.
correct.
But the money, if this is going to pay, because they were pretty much back on track to pay off the Fox deal within 10 years or even surpass that. So if they can do it sooner, maybe that does free them up to do a fifth theme park in Orlando or something that they want to do elsewhere. But again, is that the growth that shareholders want to see, or is it something shiny like this where it's just the money from an emerging market? Where think about all the kids growing up in that area that are now going to cling on to a Disney theme park, because once this theme park is there, just with anything with time, no one's going to remember that Disney doesn't own it. It's going to say Disney on the top of it. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's an attrition thing. It's a long game thing. And I think it's a smart business move. Whether or not that helps me as
I
a
don't
Walt
dis-
Disney World fan, I don't know.
I don't dismiss any of that as
Yeah.
from an economics perspective, and you know damn well that I'm prone to bring up economics on this show way too often. I've been told, but especially by that one over there in the other room. I know it's boring, babe.
Yeah.
What are you most looking forward to that you think could be a result of this news?
I'm interested to see the kinds of attractions because in one of the quotes from I'm looking on the Walt Disney Company's page about in their announcement about this, and who said it?
Probably tomorrow. He was the
I
one
think it was
leading the charge.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Josh, it was Josh Tomorrow, who said that this is a groundbreaking resort. And then he says our resort in Abu Dhabi will be the most advanced and interactive destination in our portfolio. So I'm interested to see if that translates into some things in other parks, but we shall see.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we'll get little touches. I don't know that we're going to get a
We're
full
not going to
blown
get the full
additional
thing.
park, but
Yeah.
if they find like some technology that can translate over into
Yeah.
the park that they can put in an area or two, I think it will
Yeah.
come our way. But I just you're
It's
not going to
not.
get
I
an
don't think it's going to
indoor.
be. No.
Yeah,
It's not. We're not going to get the full
I think that's
experience.
what the fifth gate should be, is an indoor park, like an actual indoor park.
yeah.
But that's just me thinking outside the box, and again wanting things for here and not focusing on the rest of the world. I really don't
Yeah.
care about that region. I've had enough of like dealing with stuff over that way in the news and everything like that for the last, I don't know, all of my life. So I would rather just like worry about local shit for me, I guess. But
Because you're
that's
selfish.
yes, absolutely. Absolutely, I'm selfish. Like, why would I dismiss that? But
Well, if they're
Yeah.
getting one park, you have four. So there you
yeah,
go.
well, that's fair.
We have the most parks in Orlando of all the other Disney resorts. So
Yeah.
cool.
relish in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what though? I don't have a point of comparison, to be fair, with when it comes to a foreign Disney park. Oh wait, someone who does have experience with that is joining us now. Steve, you've recently been to is it France?
Correct.
Okay.
Paris?
No,
Yep.
it's Paris.
Not if you're French.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm going to be as dismissive of these people as I possibly can be.
I took 2 years of French in high school, so Paris.
I took a bunch of Duolingo French.
In preparation.
Oh yeah, have to.
I don't prepare for work that way, although maybe I should these days. I don't know. We'll see.
I had a student try to convince me they were doing Duolingo on their phone when I caught them playing a game on
Doing
their
other
phone.
things.
Yeah, they were playing a game. They were like, it's Duolingo. No, it's not.
The hell is Duolingo? Please. Okay. So first of all, Steve, going over to Disneyland Paris, is it just like a bizarro Disney World?
Well, it's the parallels you can see right away.
Sure.
It's this. You got your castle park, and then you have what's called the Walt Disney Studios Park, which is essentially Hollywood Studios. And I was there. Their Disneyland is amazing. Like the lands and the theming. The Tomorrowland, they kind of went with like the Jules Verne vibe. I'll throw up some stuff on the screen
Yeah.
here. But yeah, they really found a way to do that without just kind of leaving it all disjointed like we have in the States. But on the other side of the park, the Adventureland in the Frontierland are just, it's bonkers like how well the theming was done. Like they're Pirates of the Caribbean over there, the entryway and everything, it's just phenomenal, the detailing and what they put into the park. Awesome. But then on the studio side, it's just what you kind of would expect. Like how it's very transactional feeling because it's just kind of cold and hey, there's a ride, get on the ride, get off the ride.
So
It's just,
basically, California Adventure. Then okay, that's what I understand that
yeah,
park to be.
it's just the warehouse park. You know, it's like a backlot and it's super transactional. You don't feel the Disney love outside of the little Toy Story area they have, and kind of in the France area where Remy is. But outside of that, it's very, very just cut and dry, like you would be at Old Universal or a Six Flags or something like that.
Okay.
Team
Yep.
Disney.
I mean, yeah, but that's what Hollywood Studios is like. I mean, outside of Star Wars, and I mean, when you're in Hollywood Studios, until you get into the back of the park, it's just like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just a clusterfuck of warehouses. It's kind of a piece of shit.
Yes. And this is part of why I get disappointed by the current trends with the Walt Disney Company is that it is more of this warehouse shit. It is more of this stuff that is not like immaculately themed like it once was. I yearn for this Tomorrowland that you've spoken of, that's all tailored to Jules Verne because that's something that Disney can't monetize the bejesus out of in the gift shop. So
Oh, don't
love
worry,
to
there was
see.
Star Wars there. I mean,
Oh, I'm sure that there
yeah.
were. So,
Yeah, there's Star Tours right there in Tomorrowland. Yeah.
There's Star Wars in fucking like Mission Space. Anything that you can throw a lightsaber on, they will throw Star Wars.
Yeah, they didn't stop that just because you're in another country. It's just that it's just a little bit more cohesive, but I still have my heartstrings are always going to be over at Magic Kingdom versus any other castle park, but
Yeah.
they did a phenomenal job in Paris.
So, what was your favorite attraction over at the Disneyland park then?
Ooh, the Phantom Manor was very good, which is the Haunted Mansion equivalent.
Okay.
It's just so well done. The theming was great. The exterior, now our Haunted Mansion in Orlando has it demolished, the exterior, because the queue there is just kind of weak. But once you're in and on the ride, it's not a fair fight.
Wow.
It just isn't. And then when you get on the Pirates, that again, it's just another L for Disney World versus their Pirates. Is
Jeez.
it's insanely better.
Is-
There's just a lot more pizzazz.
What
Yeah.
is a ride over there that you like that we don't have that you wish we had here?
Oh, there is a coaster in their Disney Studios park. I forget the name of it. But it's a launch coaster. I've got footage of it.
Okay.
But it's absolutely crazy fast. That was awesome. They have the Spider-Man web slingers, which
Ooh.
I won't show you footage of because it's one of those where you got to wear 3D goggles. So
Wow.
I
Yeah.
might there's been some I might have posted on social media on the Not Club 33 social media. So if you kind of go in the backlog back to March 2025, you see that. Um, I tried to capture it as best I could with a phone, but it's just kind
Shows
of
you
one
how
of those.
good we are about
Yeah.
recording these things. You know.
Yeah. Well, you 3D glasses is just kind of one of
It's
those things where
yeah.
you can't.
No, I meant like we're what? It's going to be May 12th when this is released. I mean, you
Oh,
know,
yeah, well,
a
it is
pope
what it
has
is, man.
since died, and we have a new
we
one.
have a
Yeah.
new one.
Oh well.
I'm just
Um,
saying, you know,
yeah,
it's
we get
an
to it when we get
enormous
to
amount
it.
of time.
Yeah,
Okay,
we
fair enough.
all have real jobs and real lives to lead,
This is
and this is
true.
a
Yeah.
hobby. So yeah.
This is true. It is a hobby. So, okay. When it came to the actual like on property experience, this is something that I'm interested in because I'm more of a like resort guy than I am a theme park guy, especially these days. You stayed at which resort when you stayed on
Hotel New
property?
York,
Okay,
Hotel New York. So that's
and
the Marvel theme.
Marvel themed. Okay, and
Okay.
is there a Disney World equivalent hotel?
Contemporary would be the closest thing that we have.
Okay,
Um, this is like if they would have done the Incredibles theming like they did the Marvel theming in France, then I think you personally would have been happier with how the Contemporary came out. It's the same like level of resort. It's deluxe level
sure.
of resort.
Mhm.
It's the Disneyland Paris hotel is their flagship hotel. It's the Grand Floridian of the resort. And then you have the Marvel Hotel New York, and then uh, Sequoia. And there's another one that's
It's like I'm on
yacht
their
club,
website, like
like the
Newport Bay.
Newport Bay, which is like the yacht and beach club.
Yeah.
So you have like
Yeah,
levels to it. So I would say that the Marvel Hotel is like, you know, just in that second tier, right behind the Disneyland Paris Hotel,
like
and it,
in the
it
Coronado Grandestino Tower type phase, would you say?
yeah, it would be that nice, but it's still considered deluxe. It would be the same category as the Disneyland Paris Hotel, but
Okay,
yeah, it's the contemporary is where it kind of really is. It's a 10-minute walk to the parks.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
you walk through the Disney Village, and inside the Disney Village, they've got a bunch of different restaurants. Some of them are very corporate, like the Rainforest Cafe and
Oh,
McDonald's. But there's Rosalie's bar that I went to for breakfast. They also do late nights. There's an Irish pub. There's just
Okay.
vendors like kind of just
So
setting
it's
up
like
in
Disney
kiosks with
Springs.
beers. Kind of a mix of that and the boardwalk is what I'd
Okay.
say it is.
Okay.
It
okay.
was under construction when I was there, so the vibe wasn't as cool. So it was more of a place where you just kind of stopped and grabbed something on your way to and from
Yeah.
the parks because you had to walk through that to get to the parks. But
Is it
it's an awesome
more?
idea.
Have you ever done the City Walk experience down here?
No, but I know. Yeah, I'm very familiar with what it is. So yeah,
Okay, so
it kind of
is
be
it kind
akin
of
to
like
that.
that?
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. It's part of the whole experience there. Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. I'm looking at this hotel. This looks awesome.
yeah. Yeah, I've got footage. We'll throw up on the screen here, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Talk
it's
about the
just
rooms. I mean, where was it like better bedding? Was it shittier bedding? Like, you
they
know,
were fine. Yeah, I mean, as you know, at Disney, it's the price is priced like a luxury hotel, but I've
it's
stayed
not.
in a luxury hotel. It's not.
Yeah.
This is your mid tier. This is going to be on par with what you get at a Hilton or a Marriott. Not like the Spring Hill Suites Marriott, but the actual Marriott brand or the actual Hilton brand, not the Hampton Inn. It's
Gotcha.
that level.
Okay.
So that's what we got as far as in terms of rooms. They were clean. Um, Big ass TV in the room. He had a view out onto the courtyard from our hotel where we looked down into the courtyard for Hotel New York, and you could see the other resorts that one of the other resorts that were on property. We look out, and then the lobby is fantastic, and they have an awesome bar down there that is themed to Marvel. It's kind of like if you guys have seen the bars on the Disney cruise ships
Yeah.
Yeah.
where the
I love
background
it.
changes.
Yes.
So they have a Marvel one of those, and I just sat there drinking 17 euro cocktails because and you don't leave because it's just a cool ambiance. Yeah.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
that's awesome.
Okay, so now as an American going there, there's obviously some cultural differences between Europe and over here.
Yeah.
One of those being, you can get yourself a drink pretty much anywhere on Main Street, literally,
Yep.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Talk about like the, I guess, culture shock aspect of it, because I would say that St. Louis, your home base, is distinctly Middle America.
Yeah, but also very French.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
Because
a
it was
fleur de
part of
lis in
the
our
that's
it was
true.
part of the Louisiana Purchase.
literally
I
a fleur de lis
forget.
on our flag. Uh, yeah, Lafayette Street is a major street. But anyway, the cultural difference. If you're an American used to the Disney parks and you're going to Paris just for Disney, you have no. There will be some nuances, but you wouldn't even have to look open Duolingo or even a French book. Like you just go there.
Mhm.
Everybody there speaks English.
Are the rides in English or are they in French?
Both?
Both?
They're
Yeah,
both.
even on their website, it was in both. It looked like.
Yeah, so when you're going through, they'll do the announcement in French and then they'll do it in English. And
Oh,
then
we
like
get second treatment?
So yeah,
it depends because it just I think it actually just cycles. So
Oh,
who
okay.
knows which one plays first? But yeah, literally like you're in the stretching room in Haunted Mansion, they're saying it in both languages.
It's awesome.
like
We're like
That is
the
so
por
cool.
favor manténganse
Yes.
thing for
Yeah. I mean,
please
you're in
stand clear of the
France.
doors.
Yeah.
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 So French is gonna be spoken. But yeah, it's not a difficult thing for an American to be at these parks. There are some cultural nuances, like there's more smoking.
Oh,
And yeah, you can
okay.
drink right on Main Street. They'll sell you a beer and hand it to you, and you can walk around Main Street with a beer. No issue. Wine, champagne, whatever, it's
Yeah.
there. Uh,
Fair enough.
the biggest cultural issue, like thing, is and this is just Americans, North Americans, especially us in the United States. We walk and eat.
And
People
they
don't do
don't.
that.
They don't.
No, like
That's
you
very
got your food,
leisurely.
even if it's a pretzel. Like
Yeah.
you stop, move over to the side, and either stand to the side and pick it off and eat it, or you find a table and you sit down and eat it. Like even drinking a beer, like I had it in a plastic cup, so it was kind of fine. But like you don't see anybody drinking much more than water as they ambulate.
Oh.
It's not something.
That's that's something that I think I would struggle with as a cultural thing. I would stand out like a sore thumb anyway because I'm 6'5", but you know,
I mean,
bad
you
enough.
would not be the only 6'5" person there.
I'm
but
aware. I'm just saying that I
Yeah.
stick out like one in general. You know,
yeah, the Florida
as
Gators attire might peg you as
they
an
wouldn't
As
American.
an
confuse this with
American.
Lacoste. No,
No.
No,
no.
it
Okay,
says
it's just a
Florida
giant
Gators.
Lacoste. You know. So,
They can read English.
yeah.
I promise you.
They
Yeah.
they're not like us, and they don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
they are definitely multilingual.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I am
Yep.
not not that in any way, shape, or form. I know enough Spanish to be able to be a spy in a doctor's office, especially if I have to watch like a soap opera or something. Oh,
I promise you would not know enough Spanish for
not like I know enough for the gist.
that. You might understand what some people are saying, but be a
Yeah,
spy.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm just they would think that the gringo in the corner. Anyway, you know what? That's enough of racism against me. You can edit that out if you want to. I don't give a shit.
We're
It's not
leaving
worth
it in.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm on board with it. No longer am I scared of being canceled for this. So, you know, fuck it.
There you go.
Look, when it came down to it, I don't like being cold. What was it like being in Paris in March?
It's 50s, mid 50s. So
Oh,
Ooh.
ugh.
yeah, you're
That's
just looking at,
disgusting.
if you're from the East Coast, you probably would be
Fine.
maybe even a little bit warmer in France than you would be on the upper East Coast. But from people that are kind of central corridor from like DC and through like St. Louis and Kansas City and Chicago's still north of that. Like
Yeah.
it's basically the same weather at the same time. So for
Right.
me, it was just whatever.
We would die.
Yeah.
You would wear you know they make these things called jackets. You can put
You
them
don't
on.
understand.
Oh,
There was like
Yeah.
a week where I had to do that here, like the one heavy jacket that I still own, and
Yeah.
it was miserable. I was miserable the whole time.
The worst part of us coming home one Christmas was that it was 4 degrees outside.
Oh my god.
And even the dog
What?
was like, "The hell with this shit! I'm going inside."
Yeah, our
Like,
dog's
you've
like,
been in
"Nope."
the car for 8 hours. Nope. I don't care
4
if I have
and
to pee.
55 are two completely different temperatures, though.
Just saying.
As long as the
Everything
wind wasn't blowing, it was fine. And one day I got into the lower 60s and the sun
It
was
all
shining. I
it
had
all
to
feels the
take
same.
layers off because you're just burning up hot. You're still walking,
Yeah, so
20,
you're
30,000
still yeah.
steps. So you're just, yeah.
Well, is it
You're
better
gonna
walking weather being that cool outside?
Okay, some of these names of these
Yeah.
restaurants, like they have Billy
You know,
Bob's Country Western Saloon.
yeah, the names that are like Americanized names are funny.
This is so funny to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, then what was your
Yeah.
favorite American stereotype that they put on display
I'm-
there?
They really don't. Yeah. You just kind of, yeah, it's just, this is the American West. I mean, they nailed, there's just a copy of Frontierland
Oh,
with
okay. So
Yeah.
it's not
cooler shit.
it,
Yeah.
it's not quite okay. Fair enough. I had always heard rumors that it wasn't quite as immaculately themed as some of the other parks, with the exception of now, I guess their Emporium, which is better themed than
It's
our
the Disney
Emporium.
store from what I just saw.
Didn't go in there, but yeah.
No, fair enough.
There's a so cool little tidbit at Disneyland Paris in the Castle Park.
Mhm.
When you walk in the main gate, if you go right, there is a tunnelway, so you can just walk past Main Street
Oh,
without. Yeah, and there are internal shops in that tunnelway, but the tunnelway is a walkway, so you can just walk to either side. There's restaurants. There's like little areas, like courtyards where people are sitting there eating a croissant and having a coffee or a cocktail. And people, that's another cultural difference, is like people eat outside in France. It doesn't matter what the weather is. So
ew.
they want to they want to be outdoors eating. So it could be raining. They'll be huddled under an awning, or they'll be in a raincoat with an umbrella over the table, and they're still out there eating. And that's a huge difference versus what we see in the States. But kind of cool, because then you have all these little enclaves and stuff right off Main
Yeah.
Street where you can
Yeah.
sit there and sip champagne. Where ours, you go back in those little corridors off Main Street, and there's
Oh,
the barber, the dentist talking. They have
Yeah.
that too, but that's all that's there. There's no eatery or anything like that. Like
Yeah.
there's a patio. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
how was the food there?
They have a Five
fantastic.
Guys.
Five Guys.
They have
Yes,
a
it's a
Five Guys.
this is a large corporation, and other large corporations will latch on to it.
I was not expecting the Five Guys.
There's
Yeah,
a
that's kind of
Rainforest
funny.
Cafe. I mean,
Rainforest
just
Cafe is a little different than
I mean,
Five Guys.
you know,
I mean,
not
they've
really.
they also have an Earl of Sandwich, but I'm
first of
also
all,
not shocked by that.
I'd argue Five Guys tastes better. Second of
There's
all,
got to be more Five Guys locations than Rainforest Cafe locations. I mean,
there's way more Five Guys locations.
yeah.
But
Well, then there you go. There's more
Wait.
ubiquitous. Yeah.
Did you have a
So they have-
favorite restaurant?
At Disney, I like the pricing for my breakfast at Rosalie's that was in the Disney Village.
Mhm.
But really, honestly, you could just grab food anywhere. The bar, like, sure, in America, you're going to find there's a high ceiling anywhere in the world that you can find the highest price, but the floor in France for cuisine and wine is
Yeah.
just, the floor is just so elevated. So it's just like, if you're hungry, just grab something. You're not going to be pissed off about it.
well, that's
Okay.
fair.
I went to a little quick service that was Coco themed in Adventureland, and we just popped in there, grabbed some $5 tacos, and they're great. It's like, okay, back,
Ooh.
grab a beer, grab some tacos, eat, get back out there, and just super easy stuff. Like, the Waltz. We ate at Waltz, which is obviously named after the guy.
Sure.
So we got a reservation there. We did a dinner there. That was like elevated, what we would call signature dining here, and that was a pretty good meal. I don't know that I would pay for it a second time, but it was
Yeah.
good. Yeah,
Fair enough. All right. As an American getting over there, one of my concerns is transportation. I don't know what side of the road that they drive on. I'm presuming that it's the right side, but fuck if I
correct.
know.
It's not the UK.
Um,
Yeah,
weird shit happens
according,
other
yeah,
places,
yeah,
Steve. I
yeah.
don't know. But the reason why I ask is that if I'm not mistaken, they have a big train hub going into Disneyland Paris. Am I mistaken?
It's not. I wouldn't call it a big train hub, but yeah, there's a train station there.
Okay.
So you have a couple of options once you get to the airport. If I assume you're flying in, but if I guess
I
if you came
mean,
from the well, some people would,
Well, if you come
go to
from like,
London first, and then
yeah.
they'll take the train from London
yeah,
into Paris.
I guess.
So if you're coming from Central Paris or the airport, you will the easiest option is to take a train. There are two train options from the airport. There is the regular train that makes multiple stops, and it's like $5.
Oh,
It's not expensive at all, but it's going to take you an hour to an hour and a half to get there, depending on the time of day. Um, it's a
okay.
45-minute taxi or Uber ride
Okay.
from the airport, or you can take the direct train, which is run by a company called WeGo, OUIGO, and
Clever.
Mm.
it's a 10-minute train ride straight from the airport to Walt Disney World.
Oh wow.
The only issue is, and I have no footage
Disneyland
of
Paris.
on the train, because when we got on the train, there's like the luggage racks, like in where the seats aren't like in between the
Yeah.
train cars.
Mhm.
A lady in front of us literally had 7 bags for herself, all full size, massive carry-ons, took up the entire luggage rack.
Uh,
So
I'm sorry. Did you
we
say
only had
seven?
yeah.
For
So we
just
only had
her.
yeah. We only had 3 seats, and our 3 seats, the train was full, so there was nowhere for us to put our bags. Luckily, we knew there's no stops and it's 10 minutes, so we just took and we travel carry-on only anyway, so we just took our carry-ons and just kind of we're like this, like all
Oh
balled
my
up on the train,
god.
and holding our bags, and
That's
but
not an option
one
for me,
stop. Yeah,
Steve. So
yeah.
I
Well,
applaud you for putting
maybe
up with
hope
it.
if we ever go, maybe we will not encounter this woman with
Hilarious.
7
You
full
you
size.
you could just pay for Uber or a taxi, and you
There's
pay
a better
$100
chance
and it
of
takes
going to
45
Abu
minutes.
Dhabi.
Yeah. The easier path would be to go to Paris, France. There's a lot more flight options. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Direct flight
Right.
options. Let's put it
Well,
that
I
way.
mean, I don't. I'm not sure that I want to check out those airlines. Never mind.
Those airlines,
Okay.
wait, to either way, you'd want to
Right.
check out those airlines. American run airlines suck.
Uh, yeah, I
I can
get it.
tell you that.
Yeah,
All of them. Yeah.
I've seen Emirates.
Internationally horrible.
I've seen Emirates. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is th- that or space flight. That's about the only option that costs that much, right? Like I think you can
Well,
book on
Emirates,
Blue Origin for the same price.
yeah, Emirates first classes could run you $20,000-$30,000 for a ticket to get to like Dubai. But no, you can. We flew in business class on Air France, but we used points, so I don't know how much the ticket would have cost, but I assume like 6 or 7 grand per person. We spent 30,000 points, which is the equivalent of about $300. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Use those credit cards, my friends. Get points and miles. That's another video though. Yeah.
Whole different.
I'm into travel.
video.
I'm a little bit into travel hacking. Yeah.
Just a tidbit. We'll have to bring him on a little bit more as we
Yeah.
maybe approach the summertime and we actually do more traveling type fare and everything like that. But in the meantime, here, Steve, is there anything that we did not ask you that just like you're like, what the fuck, man? Like this was obvious. You should be asking this about Disneyland Paris.
I think you've covered kind of the basics that everybody would want to know about going. Maybe just is it worth it? And
Yeah,
I'd say
I mean,
clearly, yeah. You would, yeah. I would say plan on 3 days minimum. So that would be 2 nights, 3 days. so 2 full park days. But if you could do a third night and do 3 full park days, you'd knock out everything and you'd be able to go at a really leisurely pace. The park tickets are dirt cheap compared to Walt
Oh,
Disney World.
well, that's always
Like,
good news.
you know, even like your Florida resident rates, you pay less to go to Disneyland Paris than you would on your Florida resident rates, even when they're running the
Jesus.
sales. I think our 3-day tickets fully after tax were $850 for 3 people.
That's insanely cheap. Okay.
Yes. So,
Um,
and that's with the hopping option. And then one of the days we did the
damn.
full on premiere pass thing where you can just show up and ride whatever you want. Um, and that option, I want to say, was we ended up spending $220. I have the numbers. I think I even have a video of me booking it and I'll put that up on the screen. But yeah,
Oh,
so the cost for the entire family to go, just tickets and even doing the upgraded option, we spent $1,200 or less just for tickets. Yeah, so
that's
not bad.
insane.
Yeah.
That's truly insane. So, would you say that this would be a reason to go to France, or would you say it's a fun thing to add on then to your Paris trip?
If you have been to France before, I would say that this would be something to consider doing if you're a big Disney fan. If you're
Okay.
a big Disney fan, this is a reason to get you to go to Paris and check it out. You could do, because quite honestly, if you spent 5 days, 6 days, because we were only there 5 days total. So we did 2 days, 2 nights at Disney, 2 nights at Paris, and saw the town in 5 days. Um, I would probably add 2 days on either end if I wanted to see more stuff. But if you just want to kind of, you know, whirlwind through it, you can totally do it. And it's not an
See
super
the
expensive place for the Disney portion. Isn't Paris is not a cheap city, but it's cheaper than most American big cities are. You just got to get there. Yeah,
fair enough. Do you see the Leaning Tower and the Louvre and whatnot?
yeah, we did. We took well, we didn't go to Pisa, but we took a
I was trying to be, dismissive of
yeah,
them.
we
The
did
shitty
take
tower.
a Seine River tour and just you see all the stuff. We hung out at the Eiffel Tower at night. Our hotel was on the for folks that know France, it was right on the Trocadero, so you could see from our window of our balcony, you could see the Eiffel Tower and stuff. So
Oh wow.
pretty cool. That was our
Uh,
hotel in the city. Yeah,
and how many white flags did you see adorning the streets?
white flags. Did they surrender? I don't. Yeah,
I'm certain that they did, like
no.
multiple times in that city. Like, just curious.
I think they kicked the last guy that surrendered out. But yeah,
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
it took him a minute. It took him a
yeah.
minute. Is all I'm saying. Okay, well, awesome, Steve. Thank you so much for joining us. We truly
Of course.
appreciate it. Anytime that you grace us with
Yeah.
your presence,
Thank
but
you.
obviously, we'd love to do a little bit more digging about Disneyland Paris as well with you, and we might pick your brain again here in the future. So, um, by the way, since we're on and or you're on and everything, you want to go ahead and promote the social media and whatnots?
Yeah, all our social media is at not underscore club 33. So that's our Instagram, and our threads is where I do most of the posting. We have that all on Facebook too. So if you guys are still geriatric millennials and older,
Me.
you guys can find
Me.
us over there. But yeah, we're mostly active on Instagram and threads. And then obviously, you can find us right here on this very YouTube channel that you're watching now. So
Yep.
Make sure that you have subscribed and you have commented and that you set up the bell to get notifications whenever this show or the Notcast, which of course is released every single Friday at 4 p.m. Magic Kingdom time. That's East Coast time for all of you California folk. And you get notified every time a new show drops. We do ours this here podcast Mondays at noon, but Fridays at 4 p.m. Magic Kingdom time. That is when the Notcast comes out. So make sure that you're subscribed and do all of that stuff. It gets us out into the algorithm way more, and that exposes us to more listeners. And obviously, times are starting to get a little bit tough. I really don't want to start exposing myself to listeners in any other way. I'm not prepared for that yet. Steve doesn't want to edit it either.
No, we just wouldn't post the video.
Well, that's fair.
That's for a different website, and you can handle that on your own.
Fair enough. Everybody has their price. We're not going to find out yours. Don't you worry. However, guys, until next time. And by the way, did we do the your socials? And
No, we didn't.
You never.
Yeah, you guys didn't drop yet.
We did not. We are on social media. You can find us on Facebook and that site formerly known as Twitter at Cynical Disney. Everywhere else, Instagram, Threads, Pinterest, TikTok at Cynics on Disney.
Thank you, sweetie. I appreciate that, and I did not mean to gloss that over, but of course we're lazy with social.
We are very lazy with it.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. So we need to get better at that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll light a fire. There's a lighter under there somewhere. I'll light the fire under her ass. I promise you, boss.
Bobby, you have a phone. You can post too.
I'm not set up on those accounts.
He does the Cynical Disney stuff. He posts more to Twitter and.
Oh yeah, I do all the tweets and twats.
He does so any Twitter things you see, that's him.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go, guys. I'm not sure how much of that, if any of it, made it, but we will see. Until next time, guys. We appreciate you listening and everything. And next time, you will be hearing from us, having just made our triumphant return to the Walt Disney World parks, you guys. Until next time, have yourselves a magical fucking day.